and she's from Montana, and her name is Almeda Bradshaw. Almeda, hi.
Welcome, Almeda.
Yes, go ahead and grab one of those.
All right. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Awesome. So tell our listeners now, Almeda, I got to listen to some of your music. Tell us a little bit about your music and what's inspired you to do what you do.
Okay, well, what I do is Western music. It's a little bit different than country music. When Western, I like to say we sing about the R's, ranching, roping, riding, respect, responsibility, all the good things that make up the qualities of the West that we love so much. And that's what I do. And I have been playing music and singing and songwriting for a number of years. And I went through a big life change, and I decided to remake myself and use my skill set as a musician. And so I've stepped out in the last 8 years in a professional capacity, and it's just been a wonderful adventure, and I'm having a great time. So made some albums and written some songs and just having a dandy time.
You also do poetry, don't you?
Yes, ma'am. I do poetry. My second album is actually my poetry album. It was nominated by the Academy of Western Artists for Poetry CD of the Year in 2012. So that's a little tiny feather. I love it. It's great.
Yes.
So.
Well, and you know, one thing I wanted to share with our audience, and that I absolutely love this, and this is a quote. To give you a little bit of background on this wonderful gal. She said, "I had to move east to find the West. Though raised a town girl on the Oregon coast, all I wanted was to be a cowgirl. I spent hours riding the range of my imagination in a swing-set saddle, and when tall enough, I threw a leg up over the family's trusty propane tank and rode off into many a sunset." I love that.
That's so very true.
I love that.
I can't tell you how much Cowboys and Indians, my best friend and I played in the backyard, and we were riding that propane tank continuously.
I have to laugh because as I listen to that, it reminds me, you know, if anyone knows Aunt Vicky's history, she was a PRCA trick rider, and I always wanted to be a trick rider.
Wow.
So when you said you rode the propane tanks, I used to ride the teeter-totters and try to trick ride.
Yes, and I might throw
There
in
you
42
go.
stitches before she was 6 years old, and guess who got blamed?
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So tell us about your albums. She's going to share after our other guests come up, and we excuse them because they are busy. We're going to close out the show, and Almeda's going to share some of her music with us. But tell us about your albums that you have.
Well, my first album is Voices from the Range, and it's based on the poetry of a pioneer homestead woman from Canada. And I first discovered her poetry. I just fell in love with it. It really touched my heart. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about all the story behind it, but there is great story. In fact, I do an entire program all about this woman and her songs and how I got to know her. But this is all about ranch life. It's called Voices from the Range. And if you love ranching and that kind of life, you would love the songs on here. And then that same year, I produced my poetry album, which was autobiographical. It told a lot about my growing up and my current life situation at that time. And I went through a divorce, which was part of that story, unfortunately. But then I moved to Billings, Montana, and I was working and stepping out as a professional singer and trying to make a little living at it. And after 5 years, I told my new husband, I says, give it 5 years. If things are getting better, I'll keep going. And they continually got better. So then I produced my most current album, Lovers, Wives, and Mothers, A Western Woman's Voice. So
I love it. And you've got a sticker on here because you
I
have
do.
a Spur Award finalist. What's that
This
all about?
album, well, talk about, you know, a fun little success story. I tell you what, you could always start something new. You were never too old to start something new. And this
Hallelujah.
album sat on the Western music charts the first half of 2016 at number 2. It's now sitting number 10, which is still pretty good. I've had 2 songs recognized. Parker Eyes of Blue was a Spur Award finalist with the Western Writers of America. And then my song Heavenly Here With You, which is a love song, was nominated for Song of the Year by the Western Music Association. So there you go. I'm very honored.
I think we first met in Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Western Writers of America.
That's right.
And, you know, when I first saw Almeda on stage, everybody was absolutely captivated, but it felt like you drew everyone in with your beautiful story, your compassion, your love for the Western lifestyle, and I have been following you ever since because of that. And I was going to touch on, you've been nominated for so many different awards, And I'm just very proud of you.
You're right. And part of my joke is, well, I seem to end up number 2 an awful lot. So I says, like Avis, I just keep trying harder. So
You know,
that's wonderful. I'm honored to have been recognized.
there's a lot of great folks out in the Western world and the world in general that they may never carry home the award, but they are winners. And so many folks' heart. Edie Longfellow, our friend and secretary, she's been nominated I don't know how many times for the Nita Barnes Award. Has not received it yet, but she's still our favorite secretary. So.
Oh, she is. We love Edie Longfellow.
You know, I kind of always say, I have never been the best at anything, but I give my best at everything I do.
Absolutely, that's so true, Bobby Jean. No matter what we do in life, we always try to do the very best job we can.
That's right.
Well, and one thing I want to touch on, and we're going to touch on this, and then I'll have you come back after, and we'll move out of the way and let you perform for us. But one thing that I found really fascinating as I was researching, and we talked about it just a little bit, is she not only is out there promoting the Western way of life, but you also have a heart for some young women, and there's some ministries in Montana that you're a part of. Will you share with our audience a little bit about that?
Yes, I'd love to. This album was really a kind of a God thing because I was preparing to produce my cowboy songs. I have quite a few cowboy songs, and you know, it just kept hitting roadblock after roadblock. And so I came across on Facebook information about sex trafficking in Asia. And it just touched my heart so much. And so I knew it immediately. God touched me and said, you got to do your lovers, wives, and mothers, songs from your heart as a woman. And so I did that. And there's 2 songs on here that touch on prostitution. And one of them is Dave Stamey's very beautiful song, Rosa May. But anyway, in the process of doing this, I began to develop relationships with a home in Calhan, Colorado, and one in Lincoln, Montana. Both of these homes take in girls who are being rescued and rehabilitated from sex trafficking. And it's so I have a relationship with them, and I help to raise money for them in any way I can, and then proceeds from my album do go also to those causes. So
What a word.
what an opportunity and a awesome time to be here. This is my first trip to the WNFR, and I'm here for a couple of weeks. Well, I'm Almeda, and I'm from Montana, and I am just glad to be here. So I'm just going to kick off with one quick little song here, just warm up a bit, because this is what we all are, glad to be back. Yeah, I'm back in the saddle again. Back where a friend is a friend. And the long cattle feed on that lonely Jimson weed. Oh, I'm back in the saddle again. Riding that range once more. Toting my Colt 44. And I sleep out every night. Yeah, the only law is right. Oh, I'm back in the saddle again. I whoop-a-tie-I-O, I'm rocking to and fro, 'cause I'm back in the saddle again. And whoop-a-tie-I-A, well, it's the Montana way, back in the saddle again. Yeah, let's pick it. Whoopie-tie-I-O, yeah, I'm rocking to and fro, 'cause I'm back in the saddle again. And whoopie-tie-I-A, well, it's the NFR way, right? Back in the saddle again. Yeah, here in Vegas with some brand new friends. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, I'm going to do another song here. It's coming out on an album this month. It is now the 1st of December. And the song is on an album called Tribute, and it pays tribute to law enforcement and to the American cowboy, who's the greatest icon our nation has ever had. And so this song is simply called Cowboy. There we go. Well, I like your heart, your great big heart, cowboy. It's good and raw and bold and wide, cowboy. Nothing smooth or slick or slide, just a bit of that clear blue sky. Oh, I like the heart, your great big heart, cowboy. And I like the sheen of your untamed eye, cowboy. It's altogether a damn good eye, cowboy. Nothing smooth or slick or slide, just a bit of that clear blue sky. I like the sheen of your untamed eye, cowboy. Oh, cowboy, cowboy, you ride the range, a spirit of the open plain. Cowboy, oh, cowboy, you're the heart of the West, you are the best, cowboy. And I like where you come from, cowboy. You free and unbroke son of a gun, cowboy. Well, you're good on the rope and you're handy on that dun. You know you're right there when the work's begun. Yes, I like where you come from, cowboy. Oh, cowboy, oh, cowboy, you ride the range, a spirit of the open plain. Cowboy, oh, cowboy, you're the heart of the West, you are the best, cowboy.